Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate, when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. So today I'm just taking you through an average day of eating in April. This is the late winter / early spring, depending on where you are from in the world, and going over some of the foods that our ancestors would have had access to at this time. Now is really the time where we have to be the most creative. We wouldn't be eating a lot of meat, there wouldn't be a lot of food growing around on the farm or wild or anything like that, so we have to be creative with the things that are just around and the things that we have that could be preserved for quite a long time. So that's what we're doing. So I always fast, especially in the springtime. That's always been tradition, as I've done other videos on. So I skip breakfast and have it at about lunchtime. But before I do that, a couple hours before, I have my charcoal supplements. Now, charcoal is a great thing to eat at this time of year. It can cleanse the intestines, get rid of toxins, even lower cholesterol, and all this is very important after we've just spent the whole winter feasting and drinking and eating not so healthy like our ancestors also would have done. So charcoal, a couple hours before you eat, very important to do that, or else if you eat it too close to when you're eating, you might just puke. Then, after that, we're at about 1 or 2 p.m. After I've completed my 16-hour fast, we are going to have some oatmeal. I like oatmeal year-round. I eat it definitely a lot more in the spring now, but rest of the year I usually will have some fresh fruits with it, but today there are no fresh fruits growing around, so we're having the dried stuff, some really nice dried strawberries, and some currants here that would have still been available to our ancestors from the last harvest if they dried them. But don't worry, in just a few more weeks the first berries will start to sprout, so we will eat some of that, but for now it's dried stuff. Same thing with oatmeal. That could be easily preserved for many months, if not years. Then boiling up some water and putting that all in, having some tea with it. Again, so dried, preserved berries. Our ancestors would have had access to that at any time of year. Also, honey. Honey is another thing that lasts for millions of years without going bad, so that is a great addition, especially in the spring here, but you can eat that year-round. We're also going to have some eggs. There may not be a lot of meat around, but the animals on the farm have started to produce the normal amount of dairy and eggs, so they have access to plenty of eggs. I'm making it with a little cheese. Like I said, that is an animal product, maybe lower on those things during the winter, but in the spring they start to produce more of that, so we can have all of that. Also, guess what? We're having more animal products here on the breakfast / lunch table. We are having some yogurt and adding that to our oatmeal, and we're also having some more milk. Like I said, guys, we have to be creative. This is the time of year where not a whole lot else is growing, and it doesn't make much sense to be slaughtering your livestock. So we have to be creative with the things that are preserved and the things that the animals produce. I do like a little hot sauce just to add some flavor. That, again, can be preserved for a very long time. It's not exactly in my ancestral diet of Northern Europe, where the spiciest thing we have is pepper, but I can't live without some spice in my life, so I do use some hot sauce. If you get hungry for a little snack in the day, I got a little toast here, English muffin specifically. I do not eat breads almost ever, but if I do, I have it at the spring season when our ancestors would have eaten most of that. And like I said, you can make it with butter and the jam, which would also be preserved from the previous year, so no problem there. Have a snack, and guess what? Some more milk. Maybe it's just me, but it's the Northern European ancestry. Can't live without milk. I love it. And that is something that our ancestors would have had access to year-round, but especially at this time of year. Now, I only eat 2 meals, like I said, in the springtime because I'm fasting almost every day. But for dinner, which is the second meal, we are having some fish. Like I mentioned, you are not going to have a whole lot of reason to slaughter your livestock after you've just turned them out to graze in the spring, but there would still be plenty of access to fish. So spring and late winter time is really when I'm eating the most fish. We're also having that with some rice. Rice also is not really in my ancestral diet, but I prefer that to any wheats that are native to Europe. So I like to have it with rice, and guess what? Some more dairy, some more cream. That is just the Northern European spirit in me. I can't live without it. I love it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Those are just some things that our ancestors would have had access to at this time of year for many thousands of years, and the diet would remain relatively unchanged. But let me know what you guys are eating. Any other tips, any things that are growing near you at this time maybe, or any specific livestock or wild animals that are tradition to hunt in your homelands. Let us all know down below.